All right, topic 2. So this is our second video. And yes, you can do them at once. If you want to just do 2 videos at a time, that's fine, as they're posted. So fixed versus variable expenses. Good morning. It's strange to teach a lesson while you're kind of looking at yourself. I'm used to looking at you guys. Maybe I should get a picture of all of you and put it in the background. That way I can feel like I'm looking at you instead of looking at myself. Anyway, what is a fixed expense? A fixed expense is an expense that stays the same every month. So if we were together, I would say, can someone give me an example of a fixed expense, something that stays the same every month? Just think about it. Eli, do you know? Just kidding. So a fixed expense would be something like your cell phone bill. Unless you change your plan, that's not going to change. It would be my mortgage. It would be your rent payment. Those are fixed expenses. Things that every month you have to pay that bill, your car insurance, that's not going to change. Obviously they might change each year. It might increase by a little bit as things increase, as they often do. But for the most part, every month you can rely on that bill is going to be what that bill is. Whereas a variable expense is an expense that can change week to week or month to month. So a variable expense, whereas your car insurance is fixed, your gas bill for your car might be variable because it depends on how much you drive. Food bills are variable expenses because it depends on what you buy, each week and each month. So, So how to remember that? Fixed means fixed. It doesn't change. Variable, think back to algebra and using variables. You always solve for x. X equaled lots of different things depending on the problem. So it was a variable, it changed. Variable, when we say something's a variable expense, it's because that expense could change. All right, so make sure you fill in those notes. So then the third part is use the list to classify each as a variable or as a fixed. So take a minute and maybe push pause and give it some thought. It doesn't matter which column you want to make which. If you want to make this fixed and this variable, that's how I'm going to do mine. So take a minute and pause it and fill that out. And then when you check your notes, you can check and make sure that you're right. And then answer the last question which is why might a variable expense be more difficult to manage within your monthly budget? So as you're going through your monthly budget, why might something that's variable be more difficult to manage? So take a minute, maybe think about this. One of the hardest things about the distance remote learning is not being with you to know, what are your thoughts? What do you think before we go and write something down? I wish even if we were doing a Google Meet, it would be easier to do that. But so why might a variable expense be more difficult? Well, write whatever you think. But for me, I think when I'm doing my bills, it's a lot easier to know my cell phone bill is whatever it is every month. And that's not going to change. Oh my goodness, hang on. Pardon me. It's not you. It's not the company. You guys are fantastic. It's more difficult so my cell phone bill's easy. I know what it's going to be, but my gas bill, I don't know. Let's say we go on a trip and let's say we go on a road trip and we end up spending a bunch more on gas. Well, I don't really think about it. And then at the end of the month, when I pay my credit card bill, which has my gas charges on it, all of a sudden I go, oh my gosh, we're $100 over our budget. Well, yeah, because we went on a trip and I didn't really consider the fact that the gas would cost more. So little things like that. When we talk about making a budget, we should always make a budget that has a little extra money in it. So when things like that happen, we don't go, oh my gosh, I can't pay off my credit card bill. Okay, that's topic 2. So obviously these are really short videos. As we start to get into more complicated topics, they will be longer and meatier. But I thought, especially while I'm completely remote this week, that this would be a good way to do it. Short, easy, keep it simple. All right, topic 2.